Hey there, I'm John.
And I'm Josh.
College football 2020. And we're talking about the results of week 14. And let's start off with your upset picks. How'd that go?
We'll just go ahead and start off with the one
Which one are you going to
with
start
my
off
mistake.
with? Okay,
All
let's
right.
do that.
I just figured I was wrong. I don't even know if any top 10 team lost. But I said that there was going to be some kind of big upset somewhere in the top teams.
Yeah.
And I went ahead and threw one out, and I said it would be Ohio State at Michigan State. I couldn't have been more wrong.
Yeah.
Ohio State won by 40 points, 52-12. Michigan State is an embarrassment to college football. Northwestern for losing to Michigan State, thus is also an embarrassment to college football.
This is true.
And I'm an embarrassment to college football for saying it was going to be an upset.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. That being said, I had a little bit of redemption.
There was some
this
redemption.
was definitely a safer pick. Gary Patterson, known for pulling off
and
upsets.
You said that last week.
Number 15 Oklahoma State lost to TCU at TCU, 29-22, a close game. Oklahoma State almost came back and won at the end. It was back and forth, just a fun game to watch, but TCU did pull off the upset.
They did. So you got one.
Finally.
Yes. It's been a long time coming. So let's talk about other upsets that we did see this week. One was, last week we were talking about Coastal Carolina was going to play, help me out,
Liberty.
And that got canceled.
We were excited for that game, too.
We were. And
so we didn't even talk about this game.
No, we did not.
Yeah.
Because this one did not exist until like 2 days before the game was going to be played, which is really odd.
Crazy.
But then you had number 13 BYU. They went to Coastal Carolina. Number 18 Coastal Carolina. And the idea, I think, behind this was for BYU.
So BYU had a slogan.
Yeah.
A lot of teams do this. Boise did this at one point. Anytime, any place, anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, bring it on. We'll go. We'll play you, and we'll beat you. And they had to do that because Cincinnati is, by and large, the farthest Group of 5 team ahead.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
The New Year's Six Bowl or potentially the playoffs.
Yeah.
Probably not, but potentially. Right?
Yeah. And no, it was a gamble they had to take.
Exactly.
It was, but it did backfire.
Yep. And I learned a couple things. This was the first Coastal Carolina game I've watched.
Okay.
I was not under the impression that they were triple option.
Okay.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
I'm amazed that a triple option team is currently undefeated.
This is true.
They have a disgusting field.
Yeah.
Just absolutely atrocious, an embarrassment to this country. And they won.
Yeah, they did.
They beat number 13 BYU 22-17. It was a phenomenal game.
It was incredible.
So fun.
Down to the end.
Back and forth. Watching it, the grit, these teams hated each other, and they've never played each other.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson got pancaked twice because of an interception. Like, just go look it up. It's amazing. He gets slammed to the ground twice.
Yeah.
And then Coastal Carolina's quarterback.
I think he was actually intimidated. Wilson was.
He did not play like a Heisman candidate.
No, he did not.
Probably gonna. He was never a front runner to begin with.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he should be mentioned anymore.
He probably won't
after
be in New
losing
York,
that.
will he?
Probably not.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Then we had Stanford faced number 22 Washington.
Washington was the Pac-12's last chance of having an undefeated team.
Yeah.
And they go and lost to Stanford?
Yes. There are actually 2 big Pac-12 losses that were really painful.
Yeah,
for
honestly,
the
they
Pac-12
really,
weekend,
and ironically enough,
weekend.
they're playing this coming week. So.
Yeah, this is very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Washington lost that to Stanford, 31-26. And then, number 23, Oregon, at the time, faced Cal.
Oregon,
and we thought there was no way that Cal could beat them, but 21-17.
We should have known something like this could happen because
Yeah.
Oregon lost
They
to
just lost to Oregon State.
You can't lose to
Yes.
Oregon State.
No.
I don't know. Oregon's a mess. Pac-12 is
Washington's a mess.
Starting so late, they never had a chance anyways.
The only team, and we'll talk about this with our next time, but the only team that's in there anywhere is USC and somewhat Colorado, but we'll talk about that later. So, interesting game. We had Louisiana played Appalachian State.
I did think App State was going to win this.
Yeah.
Louisiana, great game for them.
Oh my goodness,
honestly,
yes.
Looking back, man, Louisiana has done some great things this year. They beat Iowa State at the beginning of the season. Crazy upset now if you look back at it with the way Iowa State's been playing some football.
Yeah.
And then their only loss was to Coastal Carolina by 3 points.
Yep.
This team has played
It's a really
good
Coastal
football.
Carolina team.
App State, I think this score is deserving of the two talents that these teams are.
It was a great
It really
battle.
could have gone either way.
It was a great battle, yes.
And
Appalachian State played a great game. Yeah.
Louisiana just pulled it off in the
They did. Then the ones we expected, how it went like we thought it would. One was number 1 Alabama facing LSU. That we talked about last time, the revenge game, and it was. I think it's 55-17. Most Alabama fans were pretty disappointed with the 17.
And it was because of 2 pretty embarrassing touchdowns.
Yeah, it was.
Like just lack of tackling, lack of coverage.
And one touchdown didn't even get deserved because he dropped it before going in, but then got recovered by LSU.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
So it was a mess. But then we had number 5, Texas A&M. Who's that outlier team? Their only loss is to Alabama. They faced Auburn, and it was actually a tough battle.
Yeah, they were losing
through the third quarter.
And then
it was tough.
17 unanswered points
in the fourth
Auburn
quarter.
collapses yet again.
Yes.
I really think Gus Malzahn is probably
we're
done.
Gonna talk about
I
that.
really think. I just have a hard time thinking
Gus
as Auburn.
Gus.
I don't know what his payout for his contract is. Probably
it's
a lot.
Way too much. It's way too much for them.
They could be. Depending on what that is, they really could be stuck with him. That being said, if it's anything less than $50 million, get him out. Like just pay the money and get him out. Auburn, he is trash. Like wow.
I love Gus. Okay.
Of course.
Number 3, Clemson. They faced Virginia Tech, and this went as we expected it. It was a blowout, 45-10. Virginia Tech, actually, there was that, which is typical. They had that initial look like we're going to fight with them really good here, and then that just collapsed. Second half was just nothing.
I think it came down to the fact that at some point, if you don't have an offense that can stay on the field and drive, your defense is going to stop performing.
Yeah.
And Virginia Tech's defense was performing at first. They were doing well. They were putting pressure, but you can't continue to do that against a team with an offense as great as Clemson and with a quarterback like Trevor Lawrence without some offensive support, and they just didn't have that.
Yeah, they didn't. They haven't had it all year.
Nope.
So then we had in the Big Ten, we had number 12 Indiana. They were facing number 16 Wisconsin, and it was very much a defensive battle. I mean, in the trenches, kind of a fight, but it went like we thought it would. Indiana pulled that one out, 14 points to 6.
Crazy defensive game.
It was.
And we'll talk about the Big Ten in our next video, but it's fun. Looking here at the end with some of these,
it is
because of COVID, just some of the things that could potentially be happening.
It's a mess.
It's a mess. It really is.
Yeah. So that was week 14. Join us when we talk about the week 15.